So today I'm going to share with you 5 most deadly mistakes that a lot of salespeople make that impede their progress when it comes to getting sales success. My name is Ozias Mucheriwa and I help organizations and individuals boost their sales, and I've been doing this for the past 10 years. So in life you realize there are not always things that we have to do. At some point you just have to avoid making certain mistakes and you can see yourself ahead. So the 5 mistakes that I want to help you avoid today, I believe if you master them, they will push you 50% ahead of 90% of average salespeople. So what is mistake number 1? Survey after survey has been made about salespeople. And the number 1 accusation that always stands on top about salespeople is that they talk too much. Yep. Salespeople tend to talk too much. Why? Because they believe by pitching their product, talking about their service, talking about their companies, talking about their organization, they are actually making progress towards closing the sale. But that is not it. You have to be a good listener, because when you are in sales, your most important ally who will give you the arsenal to sell is the prospect. Because the prospect knows and understands their situation more than everybody else. They know the challenges that they are facing. They understand the gravity and the intensity of their problems. So if you are to sell to them, you need to get information from them. So if you are a well-trained salesperson, you know that 80% of the time is the prospect that should be talking, and you talk 20% of the time. Because when the prospect gives you information, it is that same information that you are going to use to sell to them the services that you offer. So a lot of people are not aware of that. They believe that by continuously talking, they are making inroads into the sales, but they are actually, at times, they can talk themselves out of the sale simply by talking too much. So 80% of the times, give it to the prospect to talk about themselves, talk about their situation, talk about their problems, talk about the challenges that they are facing, or talk about the targets that they want to achieve. Then you make your solution relevant to what it is that they want to achieve. Then number 2 is stating the price. Just write here, stating price prematurely. Okay, let's put it this way. Yes, stating the price prematurely. Has it ever happened to you that you are in the midst of discussing a sale, or you've just started on a sales meeting, and then the prospect is quick to say, tell me, how much does it cost? Tell me, what's the price? And if you make the mistake of hastening to say out the price, 90% of the times you lose out the sale. That's when the client can come and say, it's too expensive. It's beyond our budget. Your price is too high. Why? Because you have stated the price prematurely. So I understand the pressure. There are clients who put pressure on you to want you to tell the price. You need to be mature. You need to stay calm. You don't need to be desperate. You need to calm down and say to them, it depends. No, tell me, how much is the price? It depends. It depends on what? It depends on what? Tell me. That's what I want to know. Then you tell them. You lower your voice. In selling, the controlling of your voice is quite crucial. So sometimes when the client wants to push you into making a statement or into revealing information prematurely, sometimes you need to lower your voice. And then you respond and tell them, it depends on what it is that you need exactly. So this is how you respond to that question, right? So tell me, how much is the price? It depends. The price depends really on what it is that you need exactly. Do you mind if I can ask you a few questions in order for me to ascertain your exact needs? Normally, the prospect would allow you to ask questions, and then you go into your problem awareness questions. You start asking questions that will reveal the problem that they have. And as they reveal the problem that they have, you have to dig deeper to get them to understand the damage that the problem is actually causing. Because many a time, people can have a problem, but they don't know to what extent this problem is affecting them. Or they don't know to what extent the problem is affecting the operations. So if you are skilled now in sales, oh, it has fallen. So if you are skilled now in sales, you'll be able to go deeper and ask them about their problems. You ask them about the consequences of not resolving those problems. And you also go further to, if you can even get it in monetary terms, how much is that costing them? And how is it affecting them even at individual level? How is that affecting the organization in terms of production? And then you also need to ascertain the consequences of not resolving that problem. So as they are responding to you, they are also responding to themselves. When they are telling you the extent of the damage of this problem, they are also telling it to themselves. And as they keep telling themselves about the intensity or the gravity of the situation, they are also telling themselves into buying, because you are helping them see the bigger picture of the problem. So if the problem is not resolved, these are the consequences. And when they see those consequences, it becomes easier for you to sell. So you see the big difference in having done that against having given a price before you had really revealed the problem. So do not make the mistake of making haste or prematurely revealing the price, because that's why the prospect will be hasty to see as if your price is too high, because you have not revealed to them the extent of the problem. The problem awareness hasn't been adequately addressed. And number three is blame storming. Yeah, most of the times we hear about brainstorming, but there are a lot of people that are good at brainstorming, especially salespeople. Has it ever happened to that you give an impressive presentation which you believe a normal human being, after hearing this, they are going to buy, and then the prospect decides not to buy? Many a time we tend to blame it on the prospect. They don't understand the value. They don't see the value in what I'm offering them. They don't understand, they don't appreciate rather the value that I'm offering them. Don't do that. You should not blame storm. Do not blame the prospect. It has happened to me many a time that I would think after this meeting, the deal is sealed. And then they don't buy. They decide to pull back. Now I have learned, I have to introspect. Where really is the problem? Where did I miss it? Instead of blaming the prospect, because the prospect will never change, but it's me who has to change. That's why I like the words of Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man to reach the summit of Mount Everest. After he had made the first attempt and he failed, he came back and he said, Mount Everest, you have defeated us, but I'm going to defeat you because you're not growing any bigger, and I am. In the same vein, when it comes to failure in making sales, I should introspect, because I know that it's only me who can grow any bigger. The selling challenge is not going to get any better. It's not going to grow any bigger, but I have the capacity to grow myself and become better. How was I presenting myself? How was I asking probing questions? How was I asking situation questions? How was I asking problem awareness questions? All these, they are quite important for me to relook at, because most of the times it's simply because there are some skills that I need to learn in order for me to be able to sell. So do not be hasty to blame storm. A lot of salespeople, they don't advance, they don't develop, they don't become better, because any moment that they hit a snag, they are quick to blame storm. And then number 4 is listening to wrong advice. Most of the times, us in sales, we always want to get the latest tips, the latest hacks that can help me push myself forward. Yes, but number 4 is listening to wrong advice. One of the advices that I believe is wrong is what they call the ABC of sales, which is always be closing. So this kind of mindset will instill in your mind that you have to always be closing. The moment you meet a client, you talk, and you are closing. Always be closing. Talk, and you are closing. But I believe the right advice should be always be listening. Yes, always be listening. For me, I have proved it over and over again that time I spend listening to the client gives me the best arsenal to sell, to be able to sell to them and be able to provide the best advice that they need, or the best product or the best service that they need, everything tailored around the needs that they currently have. So don't listen to this kind of advice which says always be closing, but I would rather you always be listening. Then number 5 mistake which a lot of salespeople make is to follow up. Yes, following up. Yes, I know someone can say, so Ozias, do you mean I should not follow up on my clients? Can I just present once and then I don't follow up? How am I going to close the sales? Because statistics say that 40% of sales are made after 5 to 7 follow-ups. Okay, I understand that. You don't pick the phone. When you say, I'm calling from Motive Center, I would want to make a follow-up on our previous conversation about the products that you wanted to buy from us, or about the services that you wanted us to provide to you. You don't do that. That's following up. You don't do that. Because the reason why they are not coming back to you is because maybe they are hesitant, or they are now again confused about the value that you're going to offer them. So my advice to you is, instead of following up, give them more value. If it's information about the solutions that you provide, give them more information about how they can resolve their problem. By giving them more information, you are giving them more value, and when you give them more value, you are opening them up to think again about the goodness of the solution that you are going to bring them, or you are opening them up to think deeply about what it is that you are going to offer them. Instead of making a follow-up, give more value. Give them more information. Give them more insights. It could be the consequences of them not resolving their problem, and you've got some further insights into what is going to happen to organizations that are not resolving this kind of a problem. What is going to happen to people that are not dealing with this kind of an issue? What is it that can happen to them, or what is it that they can do to alleviate the pain? So you see, when you do that, you are giving them more value, and you are becoming more and more of an expert and trusted advisor. And in so doing, you are actually getting better in terms of your sales. So these are the 5 mistakes that I believe by simply avoiding, or by doing the exact opposite of these, you are going to find yourself 50% ahead of 90% of salespeople. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I would encourage you to do so. This is a new channel, yes, and we are still in the business of growing the channel. So your likes, your comments, and your subscription will go a long way in helping us grow and boost this channel.